shit. Gee, I wonder why this isn't working. This doesn't look to be in any better shape. Okay. We're going to change out this whole system for you. I know this is really, really hard for you to understand how to, this has never worked. So we're going to change that out too. Okay, yeah. Let's get all this fixed for you. Not judging. This is what's got me concerned. I want to make sure it made it here in one piece. It's all together. Oh, old friend. There's a lid bit. Bowed out on both sides. All right. Oh. Okay, life is livable. The blower is not. Son of a bitch. Okay. This is going to upset you, but not as much as it upsets me. It's okay, I can fix this. God, it's so beautiful in there. This is no big deal. This had me concerned, line section. But this and this being broken, I fixed all that. But the line section, that had me worried. I'm glad it's not too overly fucked. Plexiglass is cracked. But I could take the plexiglass off and pop the lid back out. Probably resquare the blower. The screw just come out. It's okay. I got technology to fix that too, brother, you know. This is still one of the top 5 boxes I ever built, in my opinion. It is at least a style. Okay, old friend. Let's see what happened to you. Okay, come back to that. So we heard a lot of pop and then no work. Just did get a little ripple in the back of the cabinet back here. Our supporting bar bowed. It's okay. That's not arced over. Yeah, I don't see anything burn up, blown up, fried. Okay. How in the hell is this melted murdered death working? I will never know. Oh. Tab for the blower. Okay. Okay. Well, shit. Let's look at our foot pedal instrument of death here. Well, yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna need a couple pieces of that. I think I gotta break into the secret stash down here. Actually, let's cut that. Let's do it like this. I did her like this. I did her like that. I even did the bitch with a wiffle ball bat. So I'm on the run. The cops got my gun right about now. It's time to have some fun. I'm not going to make you sit through all of this. I'm just teasing you. And I added you a cable that is almost double the length of the foot pedal cable that came in here. I don't know. It's like an old extension cord out of something, but anyhow, what's in here now is that'd be about 15, about 20 foot, 15 foot, something like that. This is Teflon wire that's inside of here. There's Teflon inside of this, and this is PTN jacketed wire basically 316 coax. This is epoxy-based heat shrink on the joint. It is not that flexible, but it is very durable. So it is watertight. I think that should work out a lot better for you. Now to unfuck this mess. This is disappointing. Okay, so I've rebuilt both of your remotes. They're rebuilt exactly the same. They're heat shrinked, soldered, labeled. So we've got remote 1, remote 2. These are all electrically correct. And what I mean by that is this is shield, this is return, and the tip is hot, just like everybody else in the radio world. I know this because I've tested both of these remotes thrice, or as the Germans do it, thrice. Or they'll grab, I'm not dexterous enough to it, but that they'll do the thrice thing, like that. So, amp works fine. Everything is just the way I left it. Only one small problem. You got a wire come off on your remote plug, and this is where the remote plugs in to turn the amp on and turn the amp off. Here's your foot pedal. This is working fine. I just tested it electrically, and I'll show you what I mean. Foot pedal's completely done, by the way. So I take this, I stuff it here, turn this to here. Beep, beep, beep. Off pedal, on pedal, off pedal, on pedal. Okay. So we had two things happen. We had, as far as I can tell so far, of course I haven't gotten power back to the relay to check it, but this is the reason it wasn't turning on or doing anything, is this wire had broke off here on a connector, and your electrical tape thing that you had on here had folded over and covered up the tit. Well, as we just talked about on the remotes, your tit is hot, the second pin is your return, and this is shield. Well, if we plug this in, this connection had electrical tape all over it and wasn't making a connection with this pin here. But it wouldn't have mattered, because the return wire that carries the 12 volts back to the box to trip our relay, I think you know what I'm saying. Okay, enough raggedy rag on this. I'm going to temporarily fix this just so we can test all of this, and then I'm going to change how this is all wired. So we have regular plugs like this on the back of the amp. Instead of condensing it down to a mic jack, we're going to have regular stereo plugs. It's going to say on, off, for like remote 1, and the other one's going to say foot pedal, so you can plug your fucking foot pedal into it. That's it. We'll get rid of this little Y connection. I know that this has been a pain for you for a long time, and I understand that, and I want to make it so it's not a pain anymore. Why it's here. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, where are you going, camera? Okay, so remote, turn the remote on. I got nothing. So I fixed all of this. I went and flipped the remote on, still no love. Well, I realized I didn't have any voltage coming to my capacitor bank. Where that hooks up to is down underneath here. It's actually right about in here, but down here. That wire had come off. It had unsoldered itself for some reason. So I went ahead and resoldered it down and then added a couple other wires over the top of it to hold it in place just in case. So how this works is your 12 volt comes in from the plug or into the plug, but our whole 12 volt source that runs this whole back corner, which is what runs the blower, runs all that shit, runs the remotes, the foot pedal, everything, all comes off of this bus. Well, this whole bus was dead. I didn't have any 12 volt voltage, but I had it here on our distribution bus. There's two wires that pop up. One comes here and the other one comes here, and they were unsoldered. So I went ahead and resoldered those. And now we got foot pedal love. Thing I don't like is my LEDs don't work because there's no ground from the case to the meter. Yeah. So, needless to say, when we go and we modify this 4-pin plug and make it so we just have regular regular stereo jack plugs in the back, we'll fix this. Then both these remotes will work universally, and you'll have your LEDs light up again. So, but now we get to get on with the testing portion of things. Hello, hello. 1X. Hello. 1 2 1 2. Hello. 20 watts makes 200 watts of power. Now this is where things get interesting. This is where I got to stop for the day. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll get the cabinet squared away and we're going to change how this is wired. On the inside, I think we're going to change all of our input capacitors, and I think this thing's going to take off a little bit better for you. We're going to replay with the tune and a couple other things. See if we can get this box to wake up a little bit better for you. Okay, so I got the bench 4-pill hooked up, and we reworked the inside of this thing. I was making about 4,000 watts when it come in here. Let's get in close enough that you guys can actually see the numbers on the slug. It's a 1,000 watt slug in 5X in PEP, a 1,000 watt slug in average, and a 5 watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. And then over here, I got a 50 watt slug in reverse on the input side. So let me first show you drive. Hello. Really low on the Bird, and it's because of the radio. 200 Bird and roughly 1,000 peak. We're about 400, 500 watts short on drive on this box at the moment. So if I see roughly 5,000-ish, we're going to call it a win. Hello. 52, 5,300. No problems. And over here on the input, focus, there we go. About 4.5 to 5 watts worth of input reflag. It's about as good as it's gonna get. A little bit higher than I want, but that's okay. It's dropping with drive, so that means it'll probably be about 3 watts on your side of the street. It's working. I'm happy, I'm content. So the only thing I got left to do in here, oh, and I wanted to point out, I modified this for you over here. This is all clearly labeled. Got foot pedal on the top, remote on the bottom. So foot pedal, remote, okay? And this is all wired like everybody else's standard. Off, on, and it uses just a standard, geez, my brain is slipping. Standard 1/4-inch jack today. So it's all good to go. Next stop, let's go play with fans. I had to go back and rewatch all the video segments that preceded this one. I had to actually get myself orientated on this project because this was supposed to be like an in and out, quick turn kind of deal, and it has turned into a friggin' nightmare for me and Mr. J. I'll tell you a story here in a minute. Let me get this undug. get this up here because I realized I didn't show a whole big segment of what I was doing. And I could tell those last couple segments I shot, man, I was tired, I was grumpy, I didn't want to be out here, I want to be doing other things. It's not the case today. We're rested. Probably 3 weeks has gone by since our last little segment of the video. And our big holdup has been this. You can't see it from this point of view, but that lid, no square no more. It's beat in dog poop. Okay. This has got to go here. What I wanted to show you guys, this is actually our fan key wire here, is I modified and I got rid of the 4-pin jack and went to a standard stereo connection. So, miss having a camera small enough I can move around. Take our foot pedal and plug it into our foot pedal. It's labeled foot pedal. And remote. No more 4-pin jack with 2 little pigtails coming off of it. We fixed all of that. That's all changed. Okay? So now, the story that I got to tell you guys. This is supposed to be in and out, right? But because we shipped it through the brown turd bucket kickers, and it wasn't packaged that well, even though they charged you a mile and a minute worth of money, the only problem we had was the lid was dented. This is lid number 3. I immediately get on the phone to Charger and I said, Tony. He's like, yes, sir. I said, buddy. He goes, yes, sir. And I said, how can I help you? And he goes, I need a 32 comp lid, jumbo. He goes, you got it. And he puts it in the mail that day. I mean, like, was on it that second. Then FedEx got involved. And I watched that thing go from Egg Harbor, New York, all the way across the country to Salt Lake City, and then back to Egg Harbor, New York, then back to Salt Lake City, and then it sat there. Well, Salt Lake is 4.5 hours from here. I could have literally driven down there, driven back, 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 driven down there, and driven back. About 1,000 times. It got lost in Salt Lake. So finally, we were able to file a claim. That claim we thought would motivate them to go find the lid, go find this package. I said, hey, Tony, I don't care. I'll pay whatever it costs. I just want to get this done for my friend. And so he goes, okay, I'll grab another one and I'll send it to you. So he grabs another lid, packages it up, sends it off, and it gets here. I don't even take it out of the box. I take a quick look at it and realize it's a standard 32 pill lid. Call up Tony once again. Hey, buddy. At this point, he's getting really tired of me calling and talking to him about the stupid lid, because this is silly, right? I say, hey, man, you sent me the wrong size lid. He goes, what do you mean? I said, dude, you sent me the wrong size lid. He's like, oh. So I went ahead and I shipped him back the other lid, and he drop shipped me another one. The other lid, the first lid that I ordered from him, is still in limbo someplace. It still says Salt Lake City. So we have a new lid. It's going to be pretty. And then what we're going to do, instead of putting them loud, obnoxious blowers on there, we're going to put standard JMC fans. My preferred fan of violence. on this cabinet, and it should be much, much quieter for you. So let me get this all slammed together real quick. We're going to use standard guards, not the black recessed ones, so we can maximize the amount of airflow that we get from these guys, these little guys. And let me get this all put together, and we'll get it all tied together. And then guess what? It's going to come home. Almost a month later. Oh, Lordy. This project is taking forever to get done. Am I apologizing to you, by the way, for the first couple segments? I was in a tired, bad place. Okay, gotta go. It's even quieter with the lid on. But still, this is too loud. I guarantee you I can cut this by half, if not 2/3. Silent running like a submarine. I'm telling you, we put a little anechoic chamber across the top of this thing, kill all this right out. Okay. Remote 1 is plugged into remote down here. Foot pedal, plugged into foot pedal. We're done. So I went to my metal guy yesterday. I said, dude, he goes, yeah, man. I said, hook me up. He goes, okay, dude, no problem. And I had him cut me 3 pieces of metal. So like I said, this is the old lid of that 32. And I had him cut me a piece of 63 thousandths aluminum. This is 62 thousandths is what the lid's made out of. It's probably 61 thousandths after you get rid of the clear coat that's on it, or the powder coat. So what we've done is we've skinned off the inside of this box, okay? Because remember, this thing was bowed and bent and stretched. Well, I cut 2 relief slits, one in here. Just started to cut one here and I realized I didn't need it. So just cut this relief slit here, and that allowed us to suck or pull or retension the lid so it's somewhat flat against this new top plate, okay? Then what I had him do is cut me this piece of metal for our back. So these little lips are going to hang over the edge. Lips, edge, lips. Where in the middle do we rub? So this is going to be our new backer. Woo! That's sharp. Don't do that again, dummy. Here. You know what? Ha. See, my fingers are made of wood because I work with them for a living. I send this out of here with that razor knife on there. I've been getting a phone call. Man, I gotta go to the hospital, get 3 stitches in my hand. Carved of wood. So the whole idea, the whole end game here, you guys, is that we want to increase surface area. Hold on a second, my wife's got to check in with me about something. Hold on, guys, be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So this is going to be our inner plate, and it doesn't have to touch we don't have to have a perfect seal here. But the idea behind this, and I've demonstrated this several times, is the fans are going to sit here, and that's where our air is going to intake. We're going to have a slot, so imagine another plate here in the front, and the slot's going to intake the air. By adding all this length, we're changing. This is like a tunable port. I was sitting there as I was running one of my cars yesterday. I was thinking, I gotta quit using the term anechoic chamber, because an anechoic chamber is a very specifically fine-tuned space that has got sound deadening material in it, and I would say this is more like a wrapped horn box, and we're tuning out. We're making the box so that it is not resonant to the fan noise frequency. So we're trapping that inside. Then with added materials of hush mat and other foams, we're going to trap capture those wavelength frequencies of sound. Because that's all it is. I mean, you guys are radio operators, you understand wavelengths, right? Okay, it's energy transmitted to the ether, the atmosphere, whatever. Well, with sound, it's energy transferred to the air. So what we want to have on the front end of this is, one, we want to capture the blade noise, and two, we want to suppress the vibration noise. Because as the fan's turning, it's submitting vibrations to the aluminum of the motor turning, and the surface area is rebroadcasting that noise. Okay, it's acting like a drum. Why do you think airplanes are so loud? All the noise is at the back end. You think it has anything to do with the noise coming out of the motors? Out of the exhaust port? No, it's all transmitted noise of vibration through the frame. Most of it is. It's like fighter pilots. You ask them, so what's it like when you go supersonic? Does it get really quiet? Nope. Stays the same amount of noise. Because the engine is making vibration. So what we're wanting to capture all of that, so that the guy can sit in a fairly quiet environment, and he doesn't want to hear the fans running. Moreover, he doesn't want the fans to transmit the noise back into his microphone. So this is just a wrapped enclosure. Is all we're doing. We're going to capture them very energetic waveforms. So when I come back, we're going to be really close to done. I got to take some angle. This is like the most advanced one of these I've ever made. I don't know. I kind of like my guy that I'm building this for. So the opening slit on the front is going to be about yay big. Just like about an inch. Maybe a little bit more. And this will probably have a little bit of a slope to it. Most likely like that. You got to think, we've got this whole total surface area of input for air versus the two little square slots that are our exhaust ports. So we don't want to cause a restriction on the input side. That's not what we want to do. It's okay to have a little bit of a restriction on the exhaust side. That's going to cause us to have a little upkick and overpressure, but we don't want the air intake to be limited. So I got to mock up this next plate, and then I got to take it all apart, and then we got to start laying down hush mat. We're going to do hush mat on the lid, hush mat down the sides, then we're going to do hush mat on this side of the plate, and then we're going to do hush mat and then a foam layer. So we're going to have dense, and then a less dense foam, and then we're going to have dense material on this side, okay? And then we'll build a little end cap, and then we're going to build little feet, probably 4 of them. And then with 4 little tabs of Velcro, this thing will sit on top of that amp, and it'll capture all that blade noise for him. I run hot, right? So I'm a big fat white American. What can I say? I keep it about 65 degrees out here all year long. I've had friends that have come over here in the summer and they're standing out here wearing a hoodie because they're cold. The stuff sticks better if you heat it up a little bit. Fan noise is inevitable, you guys. Everybody's like, well, I want a slow fan because I don't want to listen to all that noise. Right. Then you go to talking and you forget about that your fan's barely moving any air through your amplifier and you melt it to the ground. So to get decent airflow, we've got to have fan noise. And this is a way over the top elaborate way to fix fan noise. Don't get me wrong, but you got to have one to have the other. You know what I mean? One amplifier, either put it in another room, or like I did, I put like 5 layers of this stuff all on the inside of my box and everywhere and help mitigate all the vibration noise and blade noise and all that stuff. I mean, my big amp, 40,000, it's You stand in the room with it running, you'd be like, oh, yeah. But it was 180 something dB without all the noise canceling added to it. Now it's like 110 standing next to it, and then you get a couple feet away from it, it drops off drastically. So the guys that say, well, I want them slower fans because I don't want to listen to it running. Every time I've accommodated that, the box ends up melting down to the ground. Because they get to talking on it and they forget, oh yeah, I got exhaust temperatures going on, I got all this other stuff I got to think about. They don't think about that. So this is the best workaround I've come up with for this particular problem, which is noise. All right, let's poke 4 holes in this thing and move forward. So let's go ahead, we're gonna repeat this test now that we've got everything that's on in here normally. So it's not bone dead silent in here. That's impressive to me. Now, this amp did have a big blower on top of it originally. I'm sorry, I feel that that's a dramatic improvement, like jaw-dropping dramatic improvement. But still, to me, this isn't overly loud, the way this sits now. But to some people, that little bit of noise would be enough to drive them batty. This is the only solution workaround that we have. Okay. So, if you screw up on camera, you just have to own it. You have to accept it and take it on the chin. I had those 6 fans in there, and I had them inside the cabinet. I forgot the lesson that was hard learned here a couple years ago, where you can't put the fans inside the cabinet with this particular style of build because the RF gets in the fan and kills the fans. Well, it killed all 6 fans. And I said, piss on it. I wanted to increase the volume of air going through the box anyhow to protect the unreplaceable Toshibas that are in this thing. So we went ahead and we put the 6 fans on the outside in a way that we're used to doing. So let's do ourselves a little test here. It's going to be real simple. Oh, hold on. Here comes Amazon. Okay, so let's do a loudness test. Ready? I'm going to turn the amp on. I'm going to stand exactly 3 feet away. Amp on, and I'm 3 feet away. So, let's go over here and three feet away. I think you guys can radically hear the difference. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello. It's working. That's all there is to it. Let's kick on our driver. Hello. Now I'm coming through the computer speakers over here. Can't see the watt meter. It's banging over there in the corner. Let's take our shroud off one more time. Hello. Fans aren't slowing down, aren't speeding up. I think we're in top shape finally. I love this amplifier, but today has been trying for me. with this thing. I hate fans. I hate doing fans. I hate fans. I hate doing fans. Well, guys, I'm going to call this a win, and I'm moving on. I'm going to button this thing up, take it in the house, and get ready to crate it up and put it in its wood crate to send it home. So on that note, gentlemen, I appreciate you all tuning in. Hopefully you have possibly learned a little bit from the little shroud design, the conical design that goes on top of this thing. And it works. It honestly works. It makes things way quieter. Big shout out to Siglent. Big shout out to Excess Power. And a thanks to all of you guys for all the continued support constantly. Not only here, but on Facebook and all other social media platforms. Please take a moment to subscribe. There's a whole lot more cool shit coming. A 4-tube 3500 Z box, a 3-tube 3500 Z box, a Wizard 1500 that we're converting to a 3000 that a guy can just loaf along. Cool stuff a coming. Gentlemen, I gotta go. It's now 4.5 hours, 5 hours later, and I want it to be in the afternoon, and I got a bunch of other stuff I want to work on. So I'm going to edit this all together and get it up there for you guys to enjoy. I'll see you guys. Bump, bump. Bye.